All right, Shalom. Before I start, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakakurash. The honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all the elect Akim, Wa'akwath, learning and teaching in truth and sincerity. Another video through the Spirit. Your brother Malak from GMS Detroit. This one right here. Hey, I'm pretty sure y'all have seen, this thing going on in the news with this Karen white chick. She got caught, calling a young Jake baby, young Israelite, so-called young black male baby, the N-word. And at first, she was catching flack and backlash. But now, the gears have spun and she's taking pride in it, right? Gotten the GoFundMe donations. And so now you're seeing that spirit, which, brothers are doing videos on it. Esau they're going to shift from the spirit of white guilt to fuck these ninjas. We just gonna kill y'all. And we're seeing that transition. And this is one of them, So at first, she had that reproach on her, then started getting all those donations, right? All those, messages of approval from her fellow kind and of encouragement. And so what it goes to show you is, what we've been telling you, elders and apostles and brothers have been telling Jake, right? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, he is your enemy, your natural born enemy. They'll pretend to play nice for a time, but they hate us and they want to exterminate us. And we're about to enter the time period of hardcore racial unrest, right? People against people, like the scriptures prophesy. So let me get some of these other clips on the gram real quick. Or actually, I'll let this play first. So now what they're doing, they're painting us as the bad guys, the so-called Negroes in particular. The United States government wants to paint blacks as the problem, the source of all the troubles in America, right? And if we can get rid of them or completely persecute them, then we'll be able to fix this good green country. And that's simply just going to be, part of the catalyst that they use to shut off the ministry. So nothing new, but let me let this play.
Pebble poops, stuck poop, loose poop, meet regular poops. Seeds DSO1 is clinically proven.
Did you call him the child? Did you call the child the word? It is my own business. You call him a. Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again? Okay. All right, that's what you say.
I wish I could. They've been taking it off of Instagram, uncensored. Let me see.
Did you call him the child? Did you call the child the word? It is my own business. You call him a. Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again? Okay.
Yep, the Karmello effect. Esau's starting to get mad. Yup. I'll use that for the thumbnail. I'm sorry, y'all. Trump's America. White mom calls black kid the N-word. MAGA gives her $500,000.
All right, that's what you say.
So it says she was caught using a racial slur in a playground in Rochester, about 90 minutes south of Minneapolis. We don't need the music. I'll turn that down. So it's annoying. You have the woman Shiloh Hendricks admitted to hurling the N-word at a 5-year-old, tatted up arm. This guy, Sharmark Omar, in which they, it looks like they're so-called Ethiopians.
She was gonna deny it and walk away. When there was a video and she saw that I was recording, she doubled down and even tripled down now.
Hendricks since asserted she was the victim of an attack. What kind of attack? Always. And this is the This is what they do. But like he said, does she doubled down and she tripled down, and that's the spirit that Edom is coming in. They're about to double down. So you niggas who are still asleep, cooning, thinking he is your friend, you're gonna find out the hard way. It says claiming online that the viral video has put her family in jeopardy. Basement sewer, bottom of the barrel white bitch. All right, she barely eating. Little slim, raggedy little hoe. So she, got all them donations, and of course, Esau donated because they're still mad about that white boy who got poked. But what all this goes to show you is that hatred is still there, and the Lord is mixing.
Did you see the tizzy one?
Because it has to be, y'all. There's gonna be a race war. There's going to be. So this has to happen. This has to happen. It's not saying that this little exact moment is going to be the catalyst that starts it, but we see little things like this. These are increments. Things like this here and there, right? Until it all culminates. There will be a race war in Babylon, as prophesied in the scriptures. Where do we see it? Let's go to Isaiah 13 and 14. It says, and it shall be as the chase roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land. So as this country is collapsing, you will have to pick a side. People will naturally go back to their own, to where they feel safe and comfortable. And literally the heathens, the ones that are not from here, from this country, they will, the ones of them who can afford to do so and get out in time, they will leave this country as this place is collapsing. The racial tensions are, boiling over. Verse 15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. So if you get caught on the wrong side of the fence, you will lose your life. That's the time that's coming. Fast forward to Isaiah 19. And I will, verse 2, right at it. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight, everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. People are going to team up with those of their same kindred to fight against those who are not of their kindred. And the biggest battle on the earth is that of Esau versus Jacob, the perpetual hatred, like it tells us in Ezekiel. Which one you want to go back to? We can go back to the serpent. We can go back to Cain. We can go back to Esau. Which one you want to go back to, huh? These people, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, and that's how we know that they're not Japhet, right? The scriptures don't describe some sort of eternal rivalry between the Japhites and the Israelites. There's a description of an eternal rivalry between the Israelites and the Edomites. And when we look into this world, what two factions of people do we see that play out as? The so-called white man and their enmity against the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. That is the reality. Going back to what? Genesis 27, and like I said, we could take it back even further. You know what? Actually, we will. We'll go to Genesis 3 and 15, as a matter of fact. In Genesis 3 and 15, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. The seed of the serpent will go on to be that of Esau. Right? The seed of the woman will go on to be the Israelites, the chosen bloodline, by way of the sons of God, through Adam. We still see this enmity, this rivalry, this contention playing out in the last days. And before we, the way being PC, politically correct, you know, buying a McDouble for your neighbor, walking your neighbor's dog, all that shit's going out the window. Esau is bearing his fangs, and he's going to be reminded of his nature and of his mission, which is to destroy the Israelites, to destroy the chosen people, and cut off, you know, the bloodline, which he's not going to be successful in that, but that's what he wants to do nevertheless. That's why we're seeing these little spark ups. All right, so just coming back here, right, and we're going to tie in, you know, this Trump thing too. So we're just seeing, oh, I got some music, right? So she, you know, the event happened, she got on the internet, cried, saying, you know, she's being threatened by the big scary N-words, and, you know, she was able to garner that GoFundMe. And, you know, if you're paying attention to what's going on right now, you should remember the Karmello Anthony situation, right? So you can imagine that those Edomites who are mad that Jake has killed one of theirs, you know, they see this as a form of what's the word? Reparations. Edomite reparations. That's funny. You know, they gonna help their own out. That's funny. Fuck off. N-word. Wow, look at that. I wonder who made that. Look at that, you know, them AI generated images. That's crazy. And this is why, you know what? This is why there's not gonna be any mercy for Esau, y'all. He pretends that he's nice, he's a good person, but really he hates us. And he's done every little slick and slide, even the so-called white woman, right? And, you know, hey, don't get it twisted. We tell brothers, you know, you can deal with these heathen women in terms of having peace, or trying to, shit. But these heathen are going into slavery. The so-called white man's the so-called white woman is a scumbag too, and she going right into slavery. All she do is gonna serve her purpose, because they Edomites. She holding the little Edomite. That little nigga gonna get his head through. He's gonna get his head mashed through. And then she gonna get mashed through. She gonna be reborn a slave. They're all gonna be reborn as slaves. Slaves. Right? That little finger ain't hurting nobody over here. That's just further marking you. I got this, another one. It says white woman raises $200,000 after calling a black kid the N-word. Funny looking ass. I'm talking about, you know, you can look at a person and, you know, usually tell how much they make in a year. You know, she a broke ass, you know, wake up. She don't give a fuck about them little ass, weak ass little kids. Them little niggas be eating Taco Bell for breakfast, man. Fuck out of here. Little raggedy ass snot. Those was the little white kids when you was in school. They always had their fucking shoes off, feet black and shit. You know, running around in the classroom, flicking boogers and shit. Weirdo, loud, crazy, screaming motherfuckers. And now all of a sudden, you know, she's a poor, helpless mother who was attacked by some scary nigga. Yeah, whatever. But once again, this is how Esau gets down, the accuser of our brethren, the finger pointer, when he's the one who is truly destroying the earth. It's amazing, isn't it? It's fucking amazing how this guy is convinced the world that we're the big, scary, bad guy niggas. But he's the one actually doing all the evil in the earth. But he does such a good job at, you know, when you turn the corner, he'll catch it. You know, he's good at setting up to make it look like he's being attacked. You know, you come into the room, you don't know no better. You think he's being attacked. He just got done killing everybody. He's not covered in his own blood. That's the blood of everybody else in the room. Goddamn Esau, man. So now we'll get this, all right, because we're going to tie it in with the Trump thing. So, you know, remember, we're the big, scary, bad niggas, the darkies. We hurt people, right? Esau Edom wants to use that as a catalyst to come headhunting for all so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and then specifically for the Israelites. Revelation 12 and 10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now has come salvation and strength, and the kingdom of our power, and the power of his Mashiach, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which is accuse them before our power day and night. This man is the accuser. He points the finger at us. He's able to manipulate the media, lie with his statistics and whatnot to make it appear as if we're the ones wrecking the earth when he's in control of it. You do the fucking math. How does that work? I don't know. But in all actuality, he's the guy you got to put the scope on. So I want to get this. This incident just happened recently, so I'm going to tie it in. It says what? Shocking revenge. Father kills police deputy 1 day after cop took his 18-year-old son's life. So now we see, right? They got the black man. He killed a cop. See? Karmello stabbed him. These black people are so violent. They just keep killing white people. Who, you know, World War I, World War II, white on white crime, planet cracking weapons dropped. But little what's his nigga name? Rodney in the hood is the problem, right? So apparently this man's son, y'all, he got shot down. His son got shot down. And so a day later, he went and found the cop and ran him down. And you know what? He got more balls than a lot of you niggas in the past 60 years. You Jake, right? You Jake be talking all that smack. One of these Edomites slay one of your own. Really, this is what you're supposed to go do. All right? And now, you know, we don't promote that, obviously. But he went and did what he was supposed to do. So he content, you know, live or die. He did his job. He killed my son. I get, hey, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. As what was that Leviticus 24:20? Eye for eye, tooth for tooth. As he has caused a blemish in a man, so shall it be done to him again. So Jake, you know, kept the law on his ass.
Next tonight, authorities in Ohio say the man who allegedly rammed his car into a sheriff's deputy, killing him, did so intentionally. The suspect appearing in court today is the father of an 18-year-old killed in an officer-involved shooting on Thursday. The suspect charged with aggravated murder. Here's ABC's Christian Cordero.
Tonight, authorities say the shooting of an 18-year-old captured on police body cam is connected to the death of an Ohio deputy after that teen's father allegedly hit him with a car a day later. Prosecutors say the attack was calculated and premeditated. Cincinnati PD responding to reports of a stolen Kia at an apartment building Thursday morning. 4 suspects then fleeing police. Among them, 18-year-old Ryan Hinton. Body camera shows Hinton fall as he tries to run away. Police say they heard a metal clinking sound they believe was a gun.
He's got a gun! He's got a gun! On your right! On your right! He's got a gun!
As Hinton emerges from behind a dumpster, authorities...
Next tonight, authorities in Ohio say...
So, you know, his son was a YN. Not surprisingly, but hey, so it's, hey, look, hey, you can make a song out of that, you know. Kill my son on a Thursday, I'ma kill you dead by Friday. You know, I'm bullshitting y'all, but so hey, Esau should have he should have got to the refuge city. You know, you both supposed to stay there to the high priest. So hey, tick for tack, right? These little things, the Heavenly Father is allowing them to happen. That spirit stoking the flames of that fire of the racial tensions between Jacob and Esau. That's all this is.
Another officer firing 4 or 5 shots.
The officer says that he saw the suspect point the firearm at him.
Yes. Just 6 seconds passed between when police arrived and gunshots rang out. Officials say they tried administering medical aid. Hinton was struck twice and died. Investigators saying this gun was recovered from the scene allegedly found in Hinton's possession. On Friday, a day after that shooting and 2 hours after the Hinton family reviewed the body camera footage, according to the family's lawyer, a driver crashing a car into a Hamilton County deputy directing traffic near a commencement ceremony, killing him. The suspect, authorities say, is Ryan Hinton's father, Rodney Hinton Jr. Hinton's attorney calling the officer's death a horrific tragedy. At his first court appearance today, Hinton walked through a room packed with law enforcement. He's now charged with aggravated murder. With the Hamilton County Sheriff say another officer firing 4 or 5.
Hey, he did what niggas be talking about they gon' do. So I can't say, hey, Hey, shit. You know, he knew his son was a YN, but he went and saw that footage. He said, fuck that. And he went and caught homie slipping outside. That's crazy.
Death was a tremendous loss. Hinton Jr. is currently being held on no bail. His bond hearing scheduled for Tuesday. Whit.
Christian Cordero, thank you.
The deputy's death was a tremendous loss.
Yep, so we see that happen, right? So now that gives leeway for things like this. So we see all that just play out, right? And we're going to see more incidences, these things occur. It's just a matter of which ones the elites allow to get to mainstream media. You know, which ones are going to stir up the emotions of the people the most, because the Heavenly Father's orchestrating all of this, and the elite, they believe they're in control, but they're not. He puts it on the spirits of the people. Which ones? The Heavenly Father Yahweh puts it on the spirits of these demons that are in control of the media. Which incidences will best spark and incite the people, and that's all that this is. Right, the same way that Rodney King situation decades ago, had sparked some shit. Well, that's all that this is doing here, right? Watts riots, Detroit riots, all that. The only difference this time being is that we're gonna get to the end times. Things aren't gonna increase and then eventually settle back down. There's gonna be a certain point where things kick up and they're not gonna fucking stop. It's gonna be on and popping, y'all. Civil unrest. It says Trump just signed 2 new executive orders to unleash the cops. Here's what they mean. It says a blank check for killer cops. It says, the Department of Justice will now be required to provide legal assistance to cops facing criminal charges for acts of brutality. Wow. More military equipment will be transferred to local police departments. Wow. Consent decrees. What the fuck does that mean? Let me make this turn real quick, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. Give me 1 second, man. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, y'all. Says prisons will be expanded to incarcerate even more people. Consent decrees that aim to rein in the most notoriously brutal local police departments will be ended. Okay. Escalating the war on immigrants. Southern Kingdom and Northern Kingdom getting oppressed together, right? So he's about to give them more leeway to whoop your niggas' heads in the hood, and he coming for you, for you lighter-skinned Jake, under the border. Department of Justice will be required to step up its prosecution of local officials in cities that have sanctuary policies that limit cooperation with ICE. An official list of sanctuary cities to be targeted in the crackdown will be published. Federal funds for social programs from areas deemed sanctuary cities will be withheld. Wow, so they're cracking down, and this is all these things are intertwined. Let me go back and get this. So I'm gonna play this clip from Elder Yashawamba out of Dallas. He has found this, this clip dealing with Trump talking, and all this is, y'all. Right? Where's that at? 12 and 12, y'all. Revelation 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. They're about to come down, y'all. Esau's about to come down, so he's laying the snare, doing the necessary groundwork so that he can have free reign to persecute the children of Israel. This is nothing new. Esau loves to persecute the Israelites, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Let me get that. Was that out of Acts? I'll just get 8 and 1. It says, and Saul was consenting unto his death, and at that time there was a great persecution against the church which was at Jerusalem, and they were all scattered abroad throughout the regions of Judea and Samaria, except the apostles. Right, so we've been persecuted in the past, and we see that here, and this is before Paul's conversion, But the church, meaning what? The Israelites who believed on Yahushua specifically. That's what was going on. You fast forward to Acts the 12th chapter. It says, Now about that time, Herod the king stretched forth his hands to vex certain of the church, and he killed James, the brother of John, with a sword. And because he saw it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also. Then were the days of the unleavened bread. Right. So this was even coons were happy to see us get persecuted. Right. Herod, and this is one of his sons. They're Edomites. It's the same thing all over again today. Esau coming down on us, our wicked ass people. You have coons and traitors. They're going to be in league with them. It's the same thing all over again. Nothing new under the sun. And then the thing about them coons, they don't realize that Isaiah 13 that we read earlier, they that are joined unto them shall fall by the sword. So coons in the end, they're going to die in the end of it all. They're not going to get away and float off to heaven with the white man as they might believe in their mind. Esau wants to take out all of us. He'll use coons to assist in that, and then after that, go time for it'll be green light on them too.
And you still technically own them. I'm talking about when you had them in physical hardcore bond. What did you teach them to do to each other? What were you doing? Then you make movies about it and they become hits.
Protection. We want police to protect us. We don't want to get robbed and mugged and beat up or killed because we want to walk across the street to buy a loaf of bread. They want it so badly. The fake news doesn't talk about it. But the black population wants law enforcement more than any other population. So I think it's an important thing to say.
So there you have it. He said,
yeah, so we go bring.
So yeah, he talking out his ass with that one. But that he's doing what he's doing, justifying why he's about to take the leash off, right? Unleash the police.
Not the minority.
Unleash them, like he said. On who? On you Jakes. You Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Jacob's trouble, as it's effectively called in the scriptures. Okay, I was just saying if he got anything else out of it. Yep. These are the times that we're living in. All these little things they're all stirring the pot. Culmination. 2nd Esdras 15. Yep. 15 and 14. It says, Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. So this race war will come. And Esau, Edom, they're going to try to accomplish that which Esau stated all those thousands of years ago. What did Esau state he was going to attempt to do? Genesis 27 and 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. Esau, the Edomites of today, are going to attempt to accomplish this mission of their forefather Esau. So Jake, stop playing. Stop playing. Hey, let me give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakorash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all the elect Akim wa Akwath, learning and teaching in truth and sincerity. Shalom.